Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, how are you today? Okay, I hope you guys are fine because I am in a good mood today to teach you. So today I'm going to do a presentation, but before I started, I wanted to ask you, do you know what we're going to learn today? Or maybe some of you know it? Nah? Okay, so the topic that we're going to learn is about how to use do and does in grammar tenses. You know how to use it, or maybe some of you still a little bit confused to use it? If yes, let me explain it to you, and let us move to another slide. So this is the slide 2. As you can see in the screen, there is a picture that is talking about the rules when we wanted to use do and does in grammar tenses. But I'm going to explain in more detail in the next slide, shall we? Okay. So in this slide, we are talking about how to use the each of do and does rules in grammar tenses. This slide is talking about the picture based on the slide before talking about this. So do is using for personal pronouns such as I, you, we, and they, while does is using for third pronouns such as he, she, and it. But do is using in simple present and simple past, but do get changing into did. For example, like we didn't do our homework last night. A form of do as an ordinary verb, which means it is like a normal verb, but not as a grammatical function like auxiliary, while does use is only in simple present. So let us move to another slide. But guys, before I started to move to the next slide, you can correct me if I'm wrong. No need to be worried to correct me, okay? We still learn. We are learning here. So in this slide, this is the rules of using do in sentence. As you can see in the screen, there is a formula for do in sentence. There are 3 parts such as the positive, the question, and the negative. For the positive, we use pronoun or subject, and then auxiliary do, and then the verb. While the question, we use do for first, and pronoun, and then verb. And for the negative, we use pronoun, and then auxiliary do, and then not plus verb. So yeah, in this slide, is there any question do you wanna ask, or there's no question? No question. Okay, good. So can we move to the next slide? Okay. So this is the example for using do in sentence. There are 3 examples for the each of part. And for the positive one is I do like a cup of chamomile tea. I do like a cup of chamomile tea. While the question is, do you like a cup of chamomile tea? Do you like a cup of chamomile tea? While the negative is, I do not like a cup of chamomile tea. I do not like a cup of chamomile tea. So you can hear the differences of the intonation while I speak it, right? Right, okay. So let us move to another slide, shall we? Okay. So after we're talking about how to use do in sentence, now we're going to talk about the rules of using does in sentence. These rules is same as the form, but the differences is on the auxiliary and the subject, while the do is using I, you, they, we, while the does is using he, she, and it, as I said in the slide before it. So do you guys can remember it? It is simple to use it. Like do is using I, they, we, while does is using he, she, it, but it's okay, I will explain it to you. So the does has 3 parts, same as like do rules. First is the positive one. For the positive is pronoun or the third person like he, she, it, and then use does and then use verb. While the question is does and then pronoun and then verb. So before we move to another slide, is there any question you wanna ask? No? So you remember. So let's move to another slide. So this is the slide that is talking about that example. As you can see in the screen, there is 3 examples. For the first is positive one. She does know his address. She does know his address. Well, the question is, does she know his address? Does she know his address? And then the negative is, she doesn't know his address. She doesn't know his address. So guys, this is the last part of our lesson for today. But I'm going to tell you about the conclusion first. And then the conclusion is do and does is using in simple present, which talking about today action. It has rules when we use it. For instance, like do is used to personal pronouns such as I, you, they, we, while the does is used to third pronouns such as he, she, and it. It's a wrap, guys. That's enough for our lesson today. Hope you guys can remember it, and I hope it will be useful for you. But if you have any question, you can ask me in person, and I will answer it as soon as possible. So let me end this class. See you next week, and goodbye.